Hello, welcome back. Thank you, as always, for joining me today. We're going to talk about something that's a central theme of this course, and that is the case because it's central to what we actually do as a day-to-day, moment-to-moment, practical matter. This is a concept that we've talked about before and hinted at many times. Today, it's going to be the focus of our conversation. And that's what is known in the course as our little willingness, which is what we bring. So, as a backdrop to this, if you're newer or brand new to A Course in Miracles, we do this course, which is a self study curriculum under the guidance of the Holy Spirit. In other words, under the guidance of what I refer to throughout these videos as our inner teacher. It goes by many other names. The answer, mediator, all of this with a capital M, comforter, friend, voice for God. You are welcome to call the Holy Spirit Jesus or Mike, Susan, Michelle, Elvis. Does not matter. You may call it by more than one name and refer to it as your counsel or your guides. Doesn't matter. Those are all simply names. What's directly relevant is this relationship that we all have with our inner teacher that we're invited over and over again in this course to cultivate. We do A Course in Miracles under the guidance of our inner teacher. I mean, it's a self-study curriculum after all. All a teacher, a pixelated image on your screen can do is point. That's all any teacher could ever do is point. It's up to each and every one of us to walk the path, in a manner of speaking. It's up to each and every one of us to show up moment to moment and do the course, do the work. In other words, one of the things that we most resist in life. Well, you know as well as I know that spirituality is an adult endeavor. It's for grown-ups, and you're a grown-up. There's really not much more that needs to be said about that. What we supply day to day, moment to moment, is a little willingness. Our part, in other words, is very small. It's really not big at all. One thing that you should know and rest assured is that your desire to awaken, your desire for the holy instant, your desire for the peace of God precedes its coming. It's coming, which you're well aware of. In fact, you're almost there. Of course you are. And it doesn't necessarily feel like it every moment of every day, does it? Because we all have those days where we think, oh man, this sucks. What am I actually doing? This isn't working. Well, we all have those days on the path. And if you're having one of those, what I invite you to consider is where were you when you started your practice, whatever that looks like, whether it includes this course or not. It actually does not make any difference what it is. Where were you when you started, and what was your mindset like? Take a moment and consider that, and then consider where you are now after the time that you've spent, however long or short, on your practice, whatever it is. Here in the Course, we spend it on true forgiveness and, well, learning who and what and where we are under the guidance of our inner teacher and accepting it as it is. Yeah, under that tutelage. So when you compare where you were when you started out and where you are now, are you more forgiving? Are you calmer and more chill? How about that? Are you more loving and more patient? Does the same stuff get to you the way it used to? And when you're able to answer no, it doesn't, I don't even think about it. And when I began, it would have plunged me into a fit of rage or despair. And now I don't even think about that. Same person, same behavior, maybe, doesn't even register. That is a sure sign that this is working. So, my invitation to you is to keep going. All we do here, and it is really this simple, is prepare the mind by wanting the peace of God and nothing else. That's what we're invited to do as we practice A Course in Miracles, is to want the peace of God, but not stop with just that, because we all want that, or we wouldn't be on the spiritual path in the first place. This Course asks you to take it a step further and want nothing else. When we want the peace of God and nothing else, its coming is certain because we have set that in our mind. This is the willingness that we bring, the wish to awaken, the wish to go home, you could call it, though we've never actually left. Whatever you choose to call this in words. It's our own recognition that we want this above all else that precedes its coming. And it's that willingness that we bring. And this involves a willingness to just let it be as it is. We simply show up with our little willingness to let truth be just as it is. We are the ones that show up wanting the peace of God and nothing else. That's all we need to do. The Holy Spirit does the rest. The Holy Spirit supplies the power and the might and the magnitude, which quite naturally is beyond our wildest imaginations. It supplies that. Ours is simply to show up, relax, and trust his guidance. The Holy Spirit supplies the magnitude. We supply the little willingness, and it's all that we have to do. And you know what else is very important? It's our recognition that that's all that we have to do. Our recognition that we need to do so little that enables Him to do so much. Recognition that our part is just to bring this little willingness. He does the rest. And we simply recognize that our part is not to know all ends and all outcomes. We don't get to control that, even though we all want to. It's quite a relief when you practice it, and you may find that it's quite relaxing. I mean, really deeply relieving to drop all of this self-imposed weight to order and manipulate and control all phenomena. That's exhausting, and it's no wonder that we're all burned out, worn out, and exhausted. We don't have to attempt to order and manipulate and control everything. We simply show up with our willingness to let truth be just as it is, with our desire to have the peace of God and nothing else. There is nothing else. And in this recognition, we show up and relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher, who supplies the magnitude, the might, the power, the certainty. And it's our recognition that our part is so little that enables him to do his, which is by far the greater part. Let him do it. It's quite simply beyond our understanding. And why wouldn't that be the case when you think about it? Because the peace of God is beyond all of our concepts. It's beyond words. We're simply using words to communicate with one another here in the world, here in the dream. Who and what we really are is beyond all concepts. It's beyond words. That's why it makes no difference what you call the Holy Spirit. I mean, it really doesn't. And I invite you not to get hung up on names and nomenclature at all, because a name is simply a label. It's artificial. We made it up, like someone made up our name, or maybe we made up our own name as adults. It's a collection of sounds, isn't it? It's not the thing that it represents. It's a symbol. So it makes no difference what you call our inner teacher. None whatsoever. You'll find that this course, and indeed all of spirituality, is fundamentally and at its core about relaxing and trusting the guidance of our inner teacher, whatever you call it. Truth is beyond all concepts. It's beyond all of the labels that we heap on ourselves, like our own names, like our gender, like our nationality, our political affiliation, our work, whatever we do for work in the world, all of those labels. It's beyond all of it. So this does mean that it cannot be grasped at all with the intellectual thinking mind. The intellectual thinking mind, when you think about it, is extraordinarily limited. As much as we adore it, I have a doctorate degree. I have worshiped at that temple in this lifetime. I would know. And you don't have to have any degrees or any formal schooling or anything at all in order to practice this course. It is a tremendous universal, well, opportunity for everyone. My point in stating all of this about the intellect is that it naturally is reductive. It categorizes and slices and dices and breaks our experience down into multiple, apparently separate component parts and subparts and further subparts, like a written outline, where if you take a step back and look at it, you think, what is that? That makes no sense at all. If you've ever had that experience, exactly. The intellect will only take you so far. And while the peace of God is beyond all of our concepts, it can be known. In other words, it can be experienced even right here in the midst of our daily lives and work and our careers and email and bills and eating, sleeping, doing the housework, going to the bathroom, right here in the midst of what passes for life. The peace of God can be experienced. When you have this experience, even if it's only a momentary glimpse, you'll never fully align with the ego again. So we just accept that the Holy Spirit's part is the part that supplies the might, the power, and the magnitude, which is beyond our understanding, and we leave it at that. Much time can be spent, indeed wasted, attempting to grasp this course with the intellectual thinking mind. It points to experience, and after all, spirituality is all about experience. Does it have value to understand what this course is saying? Sure. But it is nothing compared to the direct experience which you get by putting these teachings into practice, by cultivating this relationship with your inner teacher, relaxing and trusting his guidance, letting truth be just as it is. If we try to get in the way, all we do is block it and complicate it. And because we think things have to be a certain way, we're using the faulty premise of separation. We think we're separate from our brother, from everybody else, in other words. We think we're separate from God. Oh, we are not. You heard that right. There is no separation at all of any kind. None. May not feel like it right now, day to day, moment to moment. Someone could cut you off on the freeway and annoy you, or you could pick up your cell phone when this is done and scroll through your social media feed and become annoyed, upset, rush to judgment. There are a lot of opportunities for that in the world. What this course, and indeed all of spirituality, offers you is the opportunity to come back to right now, to see things as they really are. Cultivating your relationship with our inner teacher is central to this. Now, it's a very good practical question to ask, and it's a question that I get a lot, so it's worth a couple minutes of discussion here. People frequently ask, and it's a very good practical question, how do I know if it's the Holy Spirit that's really talking to me? Yeah, perfect question, right? How do I really know? Well, my first response to this is always, how do you feel? Do you feel completely joyous? Do you feel certain that the direction you're getting is meant to be? Or do you feel upset? or annoyed or frustrated, sad, enraged, whatever. Anything that is not wholly joyous is of the ego. And if you don't feel good about it, it's not the Holy Spirit speaking to you. Now, the Holy Spirit could instruct you to do something or suggest that you do something, and you could resist that. That's completely up to you. But how do you feel, first off? Anything not wholly joyous is the ego. It's an opportunity for us to forgive, in fact. And also, the Holy Spirit speaks to us in many ways. It's speaking to you right now through this pixelated image on your screen. I promise you, this is nothing special. It's an assemblage of electronic dots that appears to be speaking a language that many of us in this world can understand. There's no accident in that. It appears to be a human being, for sure. It appears to be a middle-aged dude who's got gray hair and has done life and seen a thing or two and gotten in his own way a lot. In other words, an image to which we can relate without fear. It's the Holy Spirit speaking to you. This is just one way. You could read something, you could listen to a podcast or another video such as this. You could actually sometimes hear spoken words in your mind. And if that doesn't happen for you, no problem. We all get intuitive hits, moments of deep inner knowing. That's the Holy Spirit speaking to you. When you just know something is true. Yeah. Or we may see things that appear to us in the world outside, like a bird or a passing cloud. It could be something that we hear someone saying, or that we read, or that we see on a billboard on the highway that reminds us of who and what we really are. The Holy Spirit makes use of everything that we appear to see here in the world. So there are many ways that he speaks to us. And this speaking is constant. The call to awaken, in other words, goes out to all of us all of the time. So, as always, the question is, are we listening? And I hope that the answer may be a resounding yes. All right. So, along the way, questions are most welcome here. It's spirituality, after all, deep self inquiry. Yeah. So if you have questions, please feel welcome to leave them here. This comment thread on YouTube is, in fact, a very good place for that. So please do that. And if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that. The prompt's that arrow in the corner of your screen that you've seen over there. Click that. You'll be invited to join us. Several videos appear each week, and we're spending some significant time on this idea of the little willingness that we bring. Because it's the recognition, again, that our part is so small that, in fact, enables the Holy Spirit to do his part. He brings the magnitude. Let's allow him to do just that today, shall we?